Well, not one, not two, not three, but five. I got Tybo's top five. Guys, if you didn't know, uh, I went to Europe for 2 weeks. My wife fell into Taylor Swift tickets in Lisbon, and we decided to make a trip out of it because we also have a friend in Germany who had a birthday this past Wednesday, and we thought, why not stay or do something to celebrate? So we hit Amsterdam first. We went to Lisbon for the concert, and then we finished it off in Frankfurt, Germany. But I'm giving you my top five uh, things from the trip. I don't I don't know.
Events?
Events? Sure. Number five. Um, Guys, it's no secret I'm a history buff, so a lot of the things in my top five are history related. Number five, in Frankfurt, Germany, I went to Heidelberg Castle. Um, it's one of it's one of the larger castles in general. One of the largest in Germany. Because when they were trying to build this thing, they were really trying to go all out. They were trying to be extravagant. They were trying to look cool. Forget what year they started building it, but it's been like torn, it destroyed a bunch, like war, fires, like lightning strikes. There's like a whole, there's like a whole part of a tower that you can see that's like fallen off of, but like left where it's fallen. So it's like stuff's kind of grown around it and whatnot. It was cool to see. Um, but it's kind of it's in a valley on the side of a mountain, sort of, kind of at the base of a mountain range. So the views are sick from some of the spots that you can look out over. We didn't pay to go in this castle. We just kind of like toured the grounds and stuff. They had giant wine barrels. They had some like super massive giant wine barrels, and I don't know if they actually had wine in them or not, but I'm pretty sure they did, which is impressive. Like they were like the size of a large room, like 20-foot high ceilings type
Have been
shit.
some good wine.
Hopefully, every glass of wine that I had over in Europe was fantastic.
They got good wine.
Every glass of wine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Heidelberg Castle number five. Um, Dope. Number four, to the other, or well, not the other, another castle that I visited, an hour outside of Amsterdam, in a town called Muiden. The castle's name Muidensloot or something like that. Um, Much smaller than Heidelberg. Um, but the garden outside was very intricate, and there was a lot of stuff to learn about it there. Rather than being like super touristy like Heidelberg was. Um, like there was more information. Like I could go into every part of this castle without like paying like extra for a tour or whatever, and I could. There was like more opportunities for me to like learn about the castle at this spot, so that's why I liked it more. It would have been cooler if we went in plum season because there was a plum orchard outside the castle. But the trees just looked like they had green leaves on them instead of like bright pink plum shit. But go ahead, Sean.
Do these castles have dungeons?
Yes,
Did you get to go see the dungeon?
the at Moidenschlut, I saw their dungeon. Um, not like super basementy, like it was just like under one of the tower. Like it was built in like a square formation. There's four towers, and the dungeon was underneath one of the towers. And they had some replicas of like what torture devices were used, but I don't think it was the real things. I also didn't touch it. I also didn't go very far into the dungeon because it smelled bad.
Could imagine.
So I just listened to the little audio thing that was going in my ear, and I was like, "Cool, nice." But I took a class like just solely on castles in college, so like that type of shit really piques my interest. We got some cool pictures at both the castle sites that I just mentioned. Um, but Most of the pictures are on my wife's phone because I don't take a whole lot of pictures. Number 3, the opening act for Taylor Swift on this leg of the Eras Tour is Paramore.
What?
I got to see Paramore in
Ah,
Lisbon in the Benfica Stadium. I don't know what that's where Benfica plays in Portugal. So I don't know what their stadium's called.
Shout out Benfica.
Uh, they had it looks like a roof can go over. Like there was like some sort of like strip going right down the middle of the roof of the stadium, so it looks like it could be enclosed. I'm pretty sure. Um, but technically outdoor, like sun was shining through and everything. But just like acoustics were nuts in basically like a part dome looking thing. I don't know. It was cool as fuck. Paramore was awesome. Played all the songs you would expect them to play on like a kind of like smaller set list. There was only one song off their brand, like I think it came out in 2022 or something, super super recent that I did not know they put out. Um, that was the only song I didn't recognize, but we got to see "Still Into You" live, me and my wife. That was that was one of kind of like a second first dance song at our wedding. Like everybody else cleared off the dance floor, and we got some cool pictures of us dancing to that song in our wedding. But there was also a moment when Taylor Swift was performing. Paramore's out for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and Taylor Swift's out there for like 4 fucking hours.
holy shit.
uh, she got a standing ovation in that stadium, and I think it was just over 80,000. So like pretty similar to what would be at an Arrowhead Stadium game. The shrieking females that were giving Taylor Swift a standing ovation, it was probably the loudest my ears have ever experienced. And I've seen plenty of games at Arrowhead, plenty of Chiefs playoffs games at Arrowhead. It is the loudest stadium in the NFL, but it wasn't touching what these girls were giving Taylor Swift that night. It's crazy. So number 2, I'm just gonna say like overall the vibes in Amsterdam. Um, I did, however, hear some shady things on a couple like review sites that people can be kind of racist there, but it's like a gay pride like global like capital. Like they had like the first gay marriage there and stuff like that. Like they're friends to the gays, but maybe not the blacks.
Sinterklaas.
uh, but other than that, just being able to like I sat down at a coffee shop and with weed purchased from that coffee shop, I sat outside and smoked a joint. But like people pulled up next to me and just like pulled out their grinder and rolled up a joint right next to me. And I didn't personally see anything racist or anything like that. So I'm not going to sit here and make the claim that people are racist in Amsterdam.
Well, it wasn't Christmas time.
Whatever. I don't know what that means.
The episode
uh,
of Atlanta, it's all
yeah,
based around Santa Claus, and then they
sure.
just go overboard with it.
Stop derailing me. But the the red light district was cool. The part where the girls are like standing in the windows, there's only like one like small strip in the red light district. Um, but we saw that. Um, the like there's a bunch of canals in Amsterdam. We took a canal cruise. Like the views in the city were dope. I was high pretty much every day. The weed's not as good over there because they have some funky laws where they can't be organized enough to like grow it indoors. Like the way the laws are set up, it's like the coffee shops are still getting the weed from the black market. Like it's like super under the table like that. All their weed is pretty much grown outdoors. I didn't see anything too good, but like good enough to get, you know, baked. So being able to walk around a city and, stop at a coffee shop and get high, I think that's dope as fuck. So But number one, definitely on the trip. My wife would probably say Taylor Swift, but she's very her a close second for her would also be this. We one of the days after the Taylor Swift concert in Lisbon, we went a mile out to a kind of historical city called Sintra. At a top of, if it wasn't a mountain, it was a super fucking giant hill. Uh, we went to a palace and a very very old castle, kind of like the remains of a castle. It was like a lot of stairs and a lot of open area inside the towers. Like all the infrastructure basically like withered away. But the the stairs and like the tower structures like are still there from a castle that was beginning to be built in like the 8th or 9th century. Like it's fucking old as shit, older than a lot of castles that stand today. Um, but we were so high up on this mountaintop, and to like there's a bay. Lisbon is like right on the sea, and so like you can see the bay, you can see the views down through the city, and the palace. We were in a palace built by it's I think it's Frederick, whatever, the guy in Portugal that hired Christopher Columbus to go to the New World. It was his son. It was the Frederick the Second, or I might be getting Frederick wrong. It was some name that started with an F. Um, he like built this castle starting in the 1500s, or refurbished it. It was or palace, and the tile work and everything is very ornate. The Portuguese and the Spanish were very into tile work and mosaics, and boring as shit to you guys, but fascinating to me because it was absolutely beautiful. We have some cool pictures and stuff, but I wish I was more confident on that name. Because, but that was number one. The views from the mountain in Sintra.
Sounds like a good trip. Makes me
Sounds like
jealous.
an amazing trip.
It was a great trick.
I was just kind of surprised there was no how many food options on the top five there. Was there some good food there? Worth it,
So
or just didn't supersede
we
the events?
we definitely tried to budget ourselves. We went to a couple of places that were kind of expensive. Like the first restaurant that we went to, like when I gave you guys a picture like almost immediately of our first dinner. Um, that was probably the best restaurant that we went to. But there were a couple, we went to some rooftop bars. Um, Most of what was picture worthy I sent you guys. I maybe missed a plate or two, but after that first like week, really, we were doing mostly groceries and not going out to eat. It was
There you
only
go.
going out to drink.
Smart.